What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today, when you talk about Faraday Future, ticker's FFIE. I want to go over some of the current data points, what they're saying, what's been coming out from the company itself, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So currently, it is down 7.31%, a lot of volatility. So around 90 cents the high, 78 is the low. And despite the price, the low price, and it just getting massacred today, like no value investors are looking at Faraday. So 2.7 million shares being traded, 4.1 is the average. And plus, latest round of 13Fs did come down the pipeline, and even a lot of institutions within Q3 just got completely out of Faraday, and a lot of the bigger names as well, such as even BlackRock. So not necessarily the best when it comes down to, I guess, ownership and just the sentiment. But I'll go over some of the data points and things that you need to know. At the time of doing this video, there has been no PR today. There was a 10Q, so their earnings submitted after hours yesterday, not necessarily the best. I'll go over some highlights that you need to know, but starting off with options activity. So with it obviously at 81 cents, down 7+%, there's not much optimism. So around 5,300 in puts being purchased versus 6,200 in calls. So even despite, like I said, it just getting hit, there's nobody really anticipating Faraday to go any higher, which is very unfortunate. And based on my last video, oddly enough, which came out, I think it was on the 8th, I said that the $1 support has been holding like an absolute beast. The day after, it just gets massacred and that $1 breaks. So not necessarily the best. I have no real rhyme or reason why it was holding that $1 for so long, as you can kind of see right here. The only thing that I can really think of why it was holding that $1 for so long was shorts have a plan with Faraday. They want them delisted. So through one of the Nasdaq rules, 5550, I think it's a sub 2. If a company is trading for 30 consecutive trading days below a 35 mil market cap, they are essentially delisted. And this is one of those deficiencies that's hard to rectify because you can't do a reverse stock split or whatever else to fix this. You legitimately just need the stock price to go higher. And I believe right now is the 17th consecutive day. So by the end of November, if they don't somehow find some reason for it to get basically around the $1.20 mark, then this is just going to get delisted ultimately, which is very unfortunate considering they just did a 1-for-80 reverse stock split, and based on the earnings as well, doesn't really signal things are getting any better. And plus, like I said, you can kind of tell that based on all the options activity. So this is all the calls, and so far people are anticipating for it to be roughly about $1 or above $1 by the end of next week. And looking at the puts, clearly people are anticipating for it to be sub around $1. But over and above this though, I'll give you a quick overview of shorts, then I'll go to technicals, and then I'll touch on and give you some highlights from the earnings. So ultimately, shorts right now are increasing 250,000 shares. 39.01% of the free float is being shorted. 9.64 million shares overall are being shorted, and it is to note that this did go down pretty significantly because of some recent updates from their earnings I'll share with you, which is a little bit more of a negative. But cost of our average is 17.07, and through the interactive broker short availability does indicate that there is 0 shares available to be shorted. So interesting stuff when it comes down to that. But let's talk on some technicals. So with it at around 81 cents, it is right now between this S1 and the pivot. So very strong support is that 75.70 range, which kind of is very close to the 52-week and all-time low. And then vice versa, around 90 cents is going to be that strong resistance, which kind of did bounce off of today. And there was a little bit more optimism, I think, to start off the day, especially with good CPI data that did come out better than anticipated, both on a month-over-month and year-over-year basis. And even the data behind the scenes all do signal that. So I think the broader market was taking this information and running with it, whereas Faraday just took a massive hit, and that was because of their actual earnings. So I've kind of alluded to that in a couple cases already throughout the video, so I'll give you highlights for that. So ultimately, those are some support and resistance points that you need to kind of watch for. And through their earnings, they did give a updated share count. So when it comes down to this whole market cap rule, like that makes it so much more difficult because previously, as you can kind of see right here, what investors knew what the actual outstanding share count was, it indicated around 27.21 million. And based on the actual earnings that just came out, it shows 56.6 million. So a lot of dilution has been occurring, and based on even just looking at some of the highlights that you need to know, they have around $6.7 million in cash and cash equivalents, a lot in inventory, and just based on this information right here. So even if you just analyze this and how much they're burning through, which is 66 million every single quarter, like, you don't have to be a genius to figure that this does not equate to this. Like, this is not sufficient, meaning they are going to need to dilute. Even though they have already done that and it's stated right here, they probably will need to get to at least about 150 million for the outstanding share count for everything to be somewhat okay. So once again, technically, if you do the basic math, the more the outstanding share count is, the lower the stock price goes. And the lower the stock price stays, this is where this rule, that 35 mil market cap, gets so much more difficult. So in my opinion, shorts know this, and this is why everything is just breaking down. So a lot of bearishness overall. And the reason why I've actually been covering Faraday is I actually thought that they did have a lot of good hope. But based on this information, even with the 1-for-80 reverse stock split going down, like, it's still going to get delisted. Just my own interpretation, of course, not a financial advisor. So there's a lot of just negatives coming down the pipeline, and this earnings was very apparent. Again, I just went over some of the basic highlights that I typically look for. There's a lot of things in here. It's around 82 pages. So I'll kind of give this a read, and if there's anything that stands out to me, I'll do a follow-up video. And plus, or if there's anything that caught your attention, let me know in the comments below. But just based on this, dilution is going to destroy the stock price. Even if there is a lot of optimistic stuff stated in here, like, unless it's happening right now, like probably at the time of doing this video, because this is as of September, or this says November the 9th, I guess that's the outstanding share count, but I don't know. Things aren't necessarily the best. Let me know your thoughts on Faraday. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying, selling, holding? What have you been doing with Faraday? And even though the stock price goes up, down, sideways, all over the place, take advantage of free shares, and that is with Moomoo. So sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, and you also get 1 free share of SoFi. So for $100, you get 6 stocks, plus any cash that you do have in the account, you're earning 5.1% APY. So this is a win-win. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.